iceberg. Man, it's cold out here this morning. Ooh, it's too cold. One little playhouse. They like the playhouse. What's the matter? Huh? He popped the gate this morning and almost was out, and I missed the whole thing. Rusty started running, and I should have started recording, but instead I was like, ah, what happened? He's ready for breakfast. Hi guys. Did I scare you? Y'all need some more hay? What a bunch of belly achers. Y'all ready for breakfast? Away they go. And just like that, everybody's quiet.
Yep.
Hey guys!
Hi guys.
Welcome back to Robertson's Belly Acres. It's Tidbit Tuesday!
Tidbit Tuesday.
Woohoo! Okay, today we're talking about emergencies in your vehicle. So I know that, I don't know that most people do this, but you should have a first aid kit in your vehicle that would have like your Band-Aids and allergy med, you know, just regular first aid kit. You can get a kit at Walmart or CVS or Walgreens or anything like that. Yeah, go ahead.
The ones at Walmart, you can usually pick those up a nice one in the sporting goods section, usually for between $10 and $20.
Right. So you can just buy a prefab one. Sometimes we get those, and like for the trucks with our crew and stuff, we usually add a few things in. But yeah, you can just pick up one that's already put together that's going to handle any kind of small emergency. So definitely a first aid kit. Also, what we try to make sure that our kids have and we have in our vehicles is a roadside kit. You can also buy a prefabbed roadside kit, and those have like...
The ones we got the kids for Christmas this year had a light pair of jumper cables, reflectors. I think there might have been a thermal blanket in it. I mean,
yeah, it's just more like we're saying roadside, where if you need your battery jumped or something of that nature, they might have like flat tire, something or
might
another.
have a can of Fix-A-Flat or something.
Something in there, but those are good things to have. This is not what we're talking about. We are talking about an emergency bag to have in your vehicle, especially if you commute. Even if you don't commute, because you never know when you're going to go on a trip or something, but especially if you're going on a trip, you want to make sure that you have something in your car of this nature, and it's stuff that you're going to gather from home.
We're going to start going through this a little bit. We call it our emergency bag. There's been a couple times that we've needed one. Specifically, Rachel's needed one. One of the instances where she put this to good use was on her way to work one time in the winter months. She watched a car roll in front of her. She was able to get in her bag, get the blanket out, and wrap the people in the wrecked car in it. That way they could stay warm while they were waiting on help to come in. But like I said, it's called an emergency bag for a reason. Dun-dun-dun, we have a bag. It can be any kind of duffel bag, backpack, suitcase, whatever you've got. Just something small that you can throw in the trunk of your car or put in the back seat on the floor behind your seat. That way it's out of the way. You don't want some great big duffel bag that, like you're gonna go to war, but just something small that you can get these items in. This is kind of a basic breakdown of some of the generic items to keep in there. One of the things that we always start out with, we've got just a small, thin blanket that you can fold up pretty small. Goes inside the bag real easy. That way, if you need it, you can stay warm. Thinking on the things to stay warm, I don't always dress for the winter, especially if I'm going to be on a trip. I dress to be comfortable. That being said, I'm not wearing long johns and jeans and extra socks and a sweater. So, personally, we're putting this together like it's going to be in my truck. I carry a pair of sweatpants, or joggers as the kids call them now, and I've got a brand new sweatshirt. It doesn't have to be bright. I like the bright colors, that way if you are stranded, you're not wearing all black clothes and you're out there possibly in the dark. This way, if light hits it, it can see you. I'm going to put that in there. The other thing we like to keep in is an extra pair of shoes, just an old pair of tennis shoes or something that you can throw in a bag.
Yeah, don't put your favorite shoes. You'll just end up taking them out.
Yes.
Find ones that you've worn and they're just old and you've forgotten about them. Just put them in there.
Yeah, if it's snowing or whatever and you have to get out and you've got your feet wet, you're cold, this gives you a dry pair of shoes. And with the old shoes, even if it's during the summertime, Rachel used to wear heels to work every day. You get stranded in a storm or your car breaks down, you got to walk. You don't want to walk down the highway wearing heels. Slip on tennis shoes, bust out. That way you're comfortable and you're not risking hurting yourself. A couple other small things that you need. Old pair of work gloves. Keep your hands clean and dry. Helps you keep them warm in the winter. Throw your beanie in there. Just like Rachel said, well, don't put your favorite beanie in or your brand new favorite gloves. Just a pair that will get by. They can be old, dirty, whatever. An extra pair of thick socks. Thick socks, I mean, you can buy them at Walmart for what, $3 a pair? Mm-hmm. So get you a pair of thick socks. Keep it warm. Get you some of these hand warmers in there. They're activated charcoal. Whenever you open them up, they start warming right up. They'll keep you from getting frostbite. They're not going to warm your whole body, but they're good for safety.
And those are cheap too. You can get those in the Sporting goods. You can get them in the sporting goods department. I know. I was like automotive. That's not right. At Walmart for like $1 or $1.50 a pack. So.
And the last thing I'm going to talk about is a flashlight. It doesn't have to be a big high dollar flashlight. This is a little freebie flashlight that got sent to us. Just a little LED light. You can kind of see in your car. If it's dark, you can use it when you're walking down the road. Make sure that you're not going to step on anything. Or if you see a car coming, you can get out and use the light to flag them down if you happen to be off the edge of the road. But that takes up all the clothing and every accessories that I can think of that we'd need to put in.
Yep, but we're not done.
Not done yet.
We're not done yet. You need to have some non-perishable food in your vehicle, because if you are stranded for a few hours, or if you're diabetic, you know that you have to have some sort of blood sugar regulation or something of that nature, you do want to have stuff in there. Or if you're just hungry and you're stranded, at least you're not sitting there thinking about food while you're waiting. What we put together today, if I can find it, a box of raisins. Throw them in your bag. Also, we have, trying to get everything, we have some crackers. You can also get the little packs of crackers that already are peanut butter or something of that nature. Nuts, if you're not allergic to nuts, go ahead and grab you a bag of pecans or a bag of peanuts to put in there. You know, you don't want anything that's going to take up all the room in your bag, but just have something there. Let's have a little jar of peanut butter. just something in the bag, you know, in case.
And you don't want to put your favorite candy bar in there or your favorite snack food, because true testament, I guarantee you'll be going down the road one day and think, oh God, I'm hungry, but I don't have any money. I'm gonna pull over and grab that candy bar out of my bag, because I'll put it back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You eat it today, it's gone, and when you need it, it's gone.
Also, if you are in a situation where you need to ration the food because you're stuck somewhere where you don't know if somebody's going to find you or whatever, you don't want your most favorite thing in there because you're going to eat it all and then you're not going to ration. So you do want something that you know that you're, like saltine crackers and peanut butter, not your favorite thing to eat, it might be, but you know, you might ration a little bit better that way, because you know, you don't think about these things happening nowadays because of cell phones and things, but then you turn around and turn on the news and you hear it all the time. So I mean, just try to be prepared for that. The other thing that to go along with Rusty's heavy socks, we just have this, it used to have wipies in it. One of the girls that used to work for us, she put plastic bags in it, and it works so well this way to keep plastic bags in there. It's good to keep plastic bags in your emergency bag, because you don't know when you're going to need them. And there's several different things you can use plastic bags for, obviously, but one of the things we do want to talk about is if you're stuck in the winter when there's snow and ice and it's a really cold, wet situation, you can take these bags, you put your thick socks on, you put a bag over your socks and tie it at the top, and then you put your tennis shoes on over the bag. That's going to keep your feet dry a little while longer. Now these little shopping bags, they tear pretty easy. So you probably want to do 2 or 3 bags before you put your shoes on, because otherwise you're just going to, you know, make a hole in it and then it does you no good.
Okay, the other thing that we want to keep in there is just a couple bottles of just basic water. That way, if you've got to have something to drink, you've got a fresh drink right there. If it's winter time and it's frozen, guess what? You hold on to it, it'll dry out, will thaw out a little bit, so you can get just a drop or 2. All it takes is a couple drops to really save your life, so it's just in case.
And then I did throw in like a little spoon and fork in there. If you have something that, like peanut butter, that you're having to spread on there and on your crackers or on your bread or whatever, you want to have something that you can do that, but you can honestly use anything in an emergency situation, right?
Dangerous work if you have to.
But I'm always way over prepared, so I threw those in there. Those are not a necessity. You also want to keep toilet paper in there. I double bagged
Don't leave home
this.
without it.
I double bagged it. I mean, obviously there's other ways, other survival methods you can live without toilet paper, but again, over prepared. That with a bag of napkins, those are just kind of the extras. But let's talk about keeping warm if your vehicle is not running. So you've been in an accident, or your vehicle has just quit or whatever, and so now you don't have heat at all. So we carry a jar. The reason we use a jar is because, like a ball jar or just a regular canning jar, is because your lid has that rubber seal, so it's going to keep it water resistant. We put a lighter in there. My luck, the lighter wouldn't work, but if the lighter breaks or something happens, you know, so you do want to carry some matches as well. So what we did is we took matches and we wrapped them in plastic wrap, just to give it that extra layer of protection. And then we just cut a small piece of the striking strip off of the matchbox. You can also put a little bitty piece of sandpaper in there, but something to strike that match on. because unfortunately we all don't have, who was that used to do that? Clint Eastwood's chin, you know, that you can just strike the match across there and it comes up. What was that? Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
And then Rusty's going to tell you about this little contraption we made here. We also keep these Tealight candles. We just keep 2 of them in the jar, along with the matches and the lighter.
Okay, so you take your soup can, obviously empty, wash it out real good. You want to make sure you peel the paper label off of it. And then on the very bottom, as you can see here, I've gone in and just put 3 holes in it. What that is we're going to make a heater out of this. So you're going to take these holes are going to let the smoke out and let oxygen in. The Tealight candles Rachel was just talking about, you're going to use one of these. You're going to set it wherever on your dash or right up there, right on your console. Take it, use your lighter. You want to let it burn just a little bit. That way that wick gets burning real good. Otherwise, if you put your soup can over it too soon, you'll just put it out and it's not going to work. But you got to make sure, see how that flame's getting bigger now that it's starting to burn down into the wax a little bit.
The good thing about these Tealight candles is they don't burn real fast because, you know, it's a small wick, it's a small candle, but it's going to last you, you know, several hours per candle. So it's not something that you're going to worry about it burning down too fast.
Okay, let's test it. You can see in the holes there that it's still burning.
So those holes are big enough to let oxygen still get to your candle.
Take your soup can and just set it right over the top. And what that's going to do, that's going to trap the heat in there. And I know most of you are sitting there saying, that little candle is not going to keep me warm. Well, I can tell you right now that my late grandfather drove from Wichita, Kansas, clear to the Colorado state line and Oklahoma state line to see us one time in January. His old van, he didn't have a heater. This is all he used. It kept the windows defrosted and kept it just warm enough he could stay bundled up and drive. But it's going to be enough heat you can put your hands around it, kind of stay warm. You can get your hands warm, touch your face. I mean, it's just enough to keep everybody going. So that way you've got a little bit of heat. You're not going to freeze to death with it. You're not going to stay summertime warm, but you're going to have some heat to go with it. Okay guys, so there you have it. That is our version of an emergency bag. Try to make sure you've got one. Don't let anybody tell you it's dumb or you don't need that. If you get naysayers or somebody trying to be negative about it, just don't tell them you got it. Throw it in your trunk. Nobody knows it's there behind the seat of the truck. But make sure that you're prepared for anything that might come your way. If you like what you see, guys, make sure you share it with your friends. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and smash that bell. That way you get notified of every time that we post something. See you next Tuesday for Tidbit Tuesday, and we'll have something new for you at Robertson's Belly Acres.